Hey everyone, just thought I'd make a video on my mini hpss-16r. First I want to show the oscillator, so I'll go ahead and show how that works. It uses the same basic type of rotator design that my mini electronics use, but with one difference. The rod has a tab on it that flips a switch to reverse the direction of the rotation. However, this presented me with the issue of the switch getting stuck in the middle and shutting off the rotator every time the tab moved it. So I went about trying to solve this with a capacitor. The idea was to give the motor that little bit of extra power it needed to push the switch the rest of the way. This worked, but it had one major flaw. Once the switch reversed the polarity of the motor, it also reversed the direction electricity flowed through the capacitor. So that meant as soon as the rotator would change direction, so it needed a non-polarized capacitor, or two in this case, since I couldn't find any bipolar capacitors with a capacitance higher than 2200 UF. So I bought some caps and soldered two of them to the motor in parallel. And as you can see, they barely fit, but everything still worked out okay. So here's the finished oscillator in action. At this point I started working on the head. I had a little printing mishap with the back part, so I filled that crack with superglue. I might reprint this part later if I feel like it. And now, the horn. This is by far the largest and most filament-hungry part I've ever made. According to the slicer, it uses around 2.5 rolls of filament, but I found out that after removing the support structures, it would weigh around the same as 2 rolls of filament. So to make sure the oscillator could handle the weight, I balanced 2 rolls of filament on top of it along with the speakers and back enclosure and turned it on. The oscillator handled the load flawlessly. So now I just gotta wait around a week for the horn to finish printing, and change the filament roll every time it runs out. At first the horn grew a ton of pubes due to the supports failing in the middle, but later the 3D printer just started printing the missing supports in midair. That managed to save the print, but later this happened. A layer shift trashed the whole print, and now I've just drained the lifeblood out of 2 rolls of filament to print this much of the horn. I am not about to let their sacrifices be in vain. I've removed this mess from the printer, and are about to clean it up. Ah, that's more like it. Now I'm going to print the remaining part of the horn as a separate part. The supports nearly gave out again, but the 3D printer started printing the supports in the air again. We'll worry about the 3D printer's strange witchcraft later. Time to remove the support structures. Why does this look like a weird telephone? Oh well, might as well hang up. Alright, let's get the stupid... Hello? I think it's time I glue this on. So I glue it on. I'm putting rubber bands around the horns like this since the part I made didn't perfectly line up with the horns, and squeezing them together a bit helps align everything. A little over a day later, the glue is cured, so I cut off the rubber bands and removed the weight from the top. I also reprinted the back part since the original piece was a bit ugly, though the new version got this pimple on it. Honestly, at this point this siren might as well be TSM's moody teen character going through puberty. First the bucket loads of hair, and now a pimple? But on a more serious note though, I just cut this bump off with a knife, and then I burned it with fire! Which isn't as crazy as you might think. If done properly, it can help remove any thin fuzzy bits left from my imperfect cutting. And now to move on to the horn assembly. And now for a quick test.
Working!
The oscillation works well. Now it's time to program the controller, which now has this shiny metallic gray case since yellow didn't look good with an ATI siren. But metallic gray looks good for the control box of any siren. I synthesized a lot of ATI's tones in Audacity, and I found out while doing this that newer ATI sirens likely output a sawtooth wave instead of a square wave like what most electronic sirens do. Old ATIs use a sine wave though, we all know that. Alright, time for a quick Westminster test. Okay, time to test the alert tone. I put it on a poll for this one. Though, of course, it's ATI, so I can't not do this. Yeah, I know, the hpss-16r has never had that tone, but old ATI's had it. And we all like to make fun of it, so what the hell. Anyways, that's the finished product. Now excuse me while I try to remove the pole mount after I got stuck on the pole.
And it cut me too. Oh.
Thing's putting up a bit of a fight. I'm gonna have to try drastic measures. I'm gonna melt it down with my soldering iron! Oh, well that sucked. Now I gotta make a new one. But this time I made the diameter of the hole a bit wider so it could go on and off the pole easier. I printed this one white and painted gray since I was running low on gray filament. This one fits way better than the previous one. So now the siren is actually completed now. Anyways, BSP out.